Hey there, and welcome. Look, artificial intelligence isn't some buzzword from a sci-fi movie anymore. It's a real tool, and it's being used in your industry right now. So in this explainer, we're going to cut through all the hype and give you a really clear, practical guide to understanding AI and, more importantly, how to use it in your professional life. So let's dive in.
Let's just kick things off with one single number, 75%. So what's that all about? Well, according to recent research, that's the percentage of knowledge workers around the globe, professionals just like you, who are already using generative AI at their jobs. This isn't some trend that's on the way, it's a wave that is here right now.
So yeah, with 3 out of every 4 of your peers already using these tools, the revolution is definitely happening. Which really brings us to the big question, the one we're all here to answer. Are you and is your organization ready for it? Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll establish that yes, the AI revolution is now. Then, we'll break down what AI really is without the jargon. After that, we'll look at how it's actually being put to work, map out your first steps, and wrap up with how to lead this change responsibly.
So, first up, the AI revolution is here. And the best way to think about it is this. It's not some far-off future tech, it's basically your new digital coworker.
I mean, just look at the momentum in the business world. You've got 77% of companies already in the game, either using or exploring AI. 79% of leaders say flat out that they need it just to stay competitive. And maybe the biggest one of all, 9 out of 10 organizations see AI as a core part of their competitive advantage. It's really not optional anymore.
Okay, so everyone's using it, but what exactly is this stuff? Let's jump into our next section and get some simple, straightforward definitions for what can feel like a really complex technology.
At its heart, AI is really just the science of making machines smart. We're talking about computer programs that can do things that would normally require a person. Stuff like learning from experience, spotting patterns in data, or even making a judgment call.
And this next point is probably the most important thing to get right. The AI we have today is what we call narrow AI. It is incredibly good at one specific task, like a chatbot answering your questions. It is not the general AI you see in the movies. We're not talking about Skynet or HAL 9000. That kind of self-aware, human-like intelligence, still completely in the realm of science fiction.
And the funny thing is, you're already surrounded by this narrow AI. When your email magically filters out junk, or when your streaming service knows exactly the show you want to binge next, or even when you just ask your phone for directions, that's all AI, just working quietly in the background of your life.
All right, so we know what it is and what it isn't. Now for the good part. Let's see how this abstract idea creates actual, real-world value. How are businesses really putting AI to work?
One of the coolest things about AI is just how versatile it is. I mean, it's being used all over the place. Customer service is the big one, with about 56% of companies using it there. But it's also huge in cybersecurity, managing customer relationships. It's really finding a home in just about every single department you can think of.
And the results? Well, they can be absolutely staggering. Take a company like Unilever. They used an AI system to help analyze video interviews. The result? They saved their human recruiters about 100,000 hours of work in 1 year. That's not just $1 million in savings. It freed up their team to do more strategic work. That's real, tangible impact.
Here's another number that has massive implications. 85%. Think about cybersecurity, where every single second can be the difference between a small problem and a total disaster. Well, AI tools can spot and react to threats 85% faster than the old-school methods. That's not just a small improvement, that is a complete game changer.
So, the potential is obviously huge, but how do you actually go from knowing all this to, well, doing something with it? Let's walk through a practical roadmap to help you get started. It's not as scary as it sounds. Here's a simple 5-step path. First, you've got to educate yourself and your team. Second, find a problem where AI could make a big difference. Third, and this one is so important, run a small pilot project. Fourth, train your people. And finally, scale up what works, but always, always do it ethically.
Seriously, if you remember one thing from this roadmap, make it this. Don't try to boil the ocean. Don't try to transform your entire company overnight. Start with one small, focused pilot project. Getting a quick win is the absolute best way to show the value, learn as you go, and get everybody from your team to the C-suite excited and on board.
Okay, but let's be real. Adopting any powerful new technology is gonna come with some challenges. To really succeed with AI for the long haul, you have to lead it responsibly and be really thoughtful about navigating the ethical side of things.
And hey, if you've got some concerns, you are definitely not alone. The top hurdles for leaders aren't even technical. 60% struggle with having a clear vision, the whole "where are we going with this" problem. 59% worry about proving the return on investment, the "is this actually worth the cost" problem, and of course, data privacy is right up there. These are the real-world hurdles you've got to clear.
And this leads to a huge ethical question you absolutely have to ask. See, AI learns from data, and if the data you feed it has human biases in it, the AI can learn and even amplify those biases. So if you're using AI for something really sensitive, like screening resumes, you have to be so careful to make sure it's making fair, unbiased choices.
And of course, the elephant in the room, what about jobs? The World Economic Forum looked at this, and they project that while AI might displace around 85 million roles, it's also expected to create about 97 million new ones. So what the data is really telling us is that this is a workforce transition, not a workforce elimination. The key is going to be reskilling and upskilling people for all the new roles that AI will create.
Now, this next number might just be the most important one for any leader to understand: 70%. That's the percentage of obstacles to AI adoption that have nothing to do with the technology itself. The real challenges are human. It's about getting buy-in, managing change, and rethinking how we do our work. Success with AI at the end of the day is a leadership and strategy challenge, not just an IT one.
Which brings us right to the core philosophy of any good AI strategy. The goal is not to replace your talented people. It is to augment them. It's about giving them a superpower that handles all the tedious, repetitive, data-heavy work so that they can focus on what humans do best: creativity, strategy, and critical thinking.
So let's end with this thought. When it's done right, AI isn't here to dehumanize our jobs. It's here to elevate them, to free us up to do the kind of complex, creative, and uniquely human work that really matters. So the question you should be asking isn't if you'll use AI, it's how will you use it to elevate the work that you and your team do every single day.